Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Red Devils, and we could have our first departure of the window for United with Casemiro's move to Saudi Arabia potentially being done, and it looks like he might be linking up with Cristiano Ronaldo, with Al Nassr apparently the destination of choice, or the most likely destination for the midfielder. It's an interesting transfer, isn't it? Because when Casemiro arrived at United, everyone was very excited. I mean, he just come back off winning the Champions League, for example. He was one of the best defensive midfielders, if not arguably the best defensive midfielder in the world at the time. And in that first season, we kind of saw exactly what we got. You know, £60 million, and we all thought it was pretty well spent, given the fact that we had just bought such a good player. Unfortunately, with his injuries, he just hasn't looked the same player. Last season hasn't looked the same player. This season kind of looks like he's struggling to get his legs back and get back to sort of full fitness. And so it's been frustrating. You know, I think everybody wanted him to succeed. Everybody wants him to be that player that he was. But I don't know if the writing was on the wall, for example, with Madrid, and they kind of knew it was coming up. And that's why they were quite keen to sell him. But at the end of the day, it just hasn't quite worked out for him at United. I don't think there's any hard feelings either, you know, apart from, you know, that one time where he was sort of pulled off at halftime and, you know, a lot of fans didn't appreciate the game. You know, I think that generally, I mean, he's had some good moments. You know, he's come to United. He's won 2 trophies, to be fair, 2 different trophies as well. So he's added to his what is a ridiculous trophy cabinet. But things haven't quite worked out, and I think moving on is probably the right move for him, especially given the fact that he's being offered ludicrous wages. So he reportedly is being offered wages of £650,000 a week. Which is a lot more obviously than he's earning at United, but he's earning a lot of money at United. So in terms of the financials, United's apparently going to get a transfer fee of about £25 million, so probably less than half of what we paid for him. But at the end of the day, we just kind of need money, don't we? You know, and yes, we're going to lose money on players at the moment. But at the moment, you know, it's kind of just not really about that. It's about trying to offload the players we don't want to have, and you know, just getting money into the bank as much as we can. So even if you, for example, selling Anthony for, you know, half of what we bought him for, if we're lucky, you know, let's just get this money in. You know, let's try and find smarter signings. You know, if you sell Casemiro for 25 mil, for example, and you can go and buy a young midfielder who can grow into that role for a similar price, even a little bit more, you know, I still think it's money well spent, especially given the fact that we're going to free up those wages, which I think will amount to £36 million if he were to stay and see out the length of his contract. So you go and find a young player you can put on £100,000 a week, for example, you know, for 25, £30 million, you're actually saving in the long run, which, you know, is a bit more sort of money savvy than what we've been doing recently. So yeah, I do think that it's a transfer that needed to happen. Same, for example, Rashford not going on loan. So we're going to see a lot of overhaul, I think. We're going to see Rashford leaving. I think Anthony's going to leave, obviously, in the next sort of a transfer window, if not this transfer window. Casemiro's going to go this window. There's so much activity I think is going to happen in the next sort of 6 months. For United fans, you know, at the moment, I don't think we really care what the sort of fees are and where the fees are going to come from. It's more just about getting some money into the bank. And then the big thing about us is who we're bringing in. And, you know, are we bringing in system-based players, for example? We're bringing in superstars, bringing in young players, which does seem to be sort of the preference, you know. But at the same time, whilst you're bringing in young players, you do need to bring more senior players, because we can't afford to just start a 7-8 year plan now and sit there and say, right, well, we're not going to be in the Champions League for another 6-7 years. But, you know, then eventually we'll be competitive. You know, United are a club where you've got to be winning things all the time. And given the fact that we won the FA Cup last season, you'd like to think we're not country miles away from being competitive. At the moment, we're in a terrible, current run of form, but there's players in this club that can compete at the highest level, and if we can start offloading players like Casemiro, for example, where it's just not working out, bring in a player who can add a bit more, then, you know, that's all about building into the right type of squad. We've got the squad depth and the versatility to be able to, you know, compete at the highest level. Let me know what you think of the transfer down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you guys all soon.